Hi guys, you're welcome to Joseph Tech. Let me teach you how to install an air condition in just 20 minutes. All right, let's get started. That's the point where the connection is being made. We just open the face cap of the air condition. Every air condition has this face cap, except some few ones like LG and some other products like that. So we just open where we can insert the wires and set up the connections for the AC. What I just removed now is the cable clamp. That is just used to hold the cable. It doesn't have any other function than that. It's just used to hold the cable in place so it doesn't shift or it doesn't drag out of its position when you actually set it up. Now that point where I'm passing the wire through is where the wire will always pass through in most air conditions that uses this same process to pass wires. Understand? This is how we pass through the wire. I will also make a video on LG installation, LG air conditioner installation. When it comes to splits like this, that one has a just a very few steps outside of this, but everything still goes almost the same way. So I'm just trying to select up my wires that will go for each of the terminals. This is high sense air condition split type 1.5 horsepower, and this is inverter. It is very durable, good, and sleek. Understand? That's I really love Hisense when it comes to air condition. I really love Hisense. I'm trying to select my cables. I've connected the positive terminal. I've connected the negative terminal, and I'm about to connect the compressor starter. That's just the negative terminal being connected to the negative cable being connected to the negative terminals. Understand? I just have to take my time to do that so I won't skip any connection or any terminal unconnected. So with this now, I'm able to set the whole system up. I'm able to set the whole system up with this cable installation process. Understand? This cable installation process is always very critical. You just have to know what you are doing. I have taken my time to explain this in other my video. If you want to know how the cable are being connected, just go down to my videos. You see things like that, and I've actually explained it. You see a termination like the neutral termination, they call it the N. It is being identified by N. The positive termination, it is being identified by L. And if it is inverter, you will see something like C or CS, or you see an S. Understand? On a particular terminal, you must connect up that terminal. Then the last terminal we have to put into consideration, most important, is the earthing. Understand? The earthing also needs to follow up. So everything is being set up here, and we are very good to go to let up everything on the go. To let up everything on the go. I just discovered that the terminal is not firmly connected, so I have to make sure that the termination is proper and it is firmly done. So to avoid any arc or breakdown while operating. So I just have to do this very efficient. So that has been done. I have to cover up the cable termination leads. I have to cover up the cable termination leads. That is done perfectly. Now I have to cover up the face cap where I access my table termination leads. So now the next step now is to go and install my indoor hanger. Your indoor hanger must be properly installed. Understand? What I mean properly installed, you must use a plumb to plumb it up, and you must also use either a drill machine to set the holes and drill it to correct plumbing. And also, if you don't have a drill, you can use your hammer and your nail, understand, to do that. It is being done through several processes. You can also use a punch to do the same work, and it will really serve you perfectly. So in this case, I'm using a hammer drill, a hammer and a nail. But the whole day has already been set up because the person who live in the apartment before has already installed an air condition. So we still have to use the same points where the person used, the same perforated hole where the person used, at least so to get our job neatly done. Now we are done with the indoor hanger. We are done with the indoor hanger. So it's just to come and arrange up our outlets, like the copper outlets that will rotate the gas from in, out, and in again. Understand? So that's just it. I have to use the wrapping tape to properly wrap it up so wires doesn't get deserted. Everything needs to be done very neat, efficient, understand? Because we have been contacted as one of the best, so we have to do our best job. So with this now, I've been able to wrap the system up perfectly, removing the copper tabs, understand? So I can easily access it when lighting up the kits, the copper kits. So that is done, that is done, that is done, that is done perfectly. In just 20 minutes, I want to use 20 minutes to teach you how to install an air condition from start to finish. From just for you to know that it is not that cumbersome as people may say. It is something you can actually do on your own if you really have your time to do that. That's just it. It can save you a whole lot of cost. It can save you money. It can save you stress. Understand? It can also save you in Africa. Here, there's what you call insults. It can also save you insults. Understand? From technicians, engineers who feel they can do it, and you cannot direct them what to do. You cannot instruct them, and the rest of it. But with this, you can just sit down on your own and make everything being set up, understand? And it will perfectly work. There's no difference between you and I. It's just the skill difference. So if you have the skill, we are all the same. So that's how it is. So I'm taking it inside. I just want to hook it up to the hanger inside there. This is the process I used to set up the whole thing. I have first of all insert the wire into the hole, into the perforated hole, taking it outside, and I will just carefully pass the copper pipe from the indoor units through the hole outside again. And the next thing is just to hook it up to the indoor hanger and everything is set up. It is just as simple as what you've just seen. It is just as simple as what you have just seen. So don't let anybody to make himself too special and try to extravagantly charge you for what you can do yourself. So that is just it. Can you believe what your eyes are seeing? That is how it is. So with this now, we are going outside to set up the kits, the copper kits. The owner of the air condition has already owned an AC, and one thing or the other happened and he had to throw away that one. So the copper kit you are seeing there is the copper kit from the old air condition. So we just have to reuse it for the person, understand? We just have to reuse it again. Just have to tell him that, okay, tell her that the system can still be reused. So with that, I have to carefully do that myself so it won't get damaged or the pipe will not get injured on the process of installation. If you observe what I just did while installing, please don't don't do this. Understand? Most people make this mistake. They do not tighten the knots to the bolt. Understand? They do not tie the knot to the bolt with their hands first to make sure that it is freely moving before using the spanner to do that. So you have to tighten the knot to the bolt first with your hand, ensuring that it is actually moving freely before you now use your spanner to fasten it up. I don't know if you get the point. You have to use your hands, understand, your bare hand. tighten up the nuts to the bolt first before using the spanner to fasten it up. With what I've just said now, it will help you save the cost of extra repairs on the air condition. Have you observed what I'm doing? I'm using my hands first to tighten the nuts to the bolt before I will now fasten it up with the spanners. You use a pair of spanner, which is two spanners, two range spanner to work. So with this now, I have firmly fastened the nuts to the bolt of the air condition kit. I'm trying to make it very strong so that it won't leak off the refrigerant from the system, because the refrigerant leak off from the system, it will become something different. The client will not be satisfied by the job, and it will not even really tell more. It will not really tell good about us. So with this now, I'm using the wrapping tape to wrap up the system, making it look neat and at least pleasing to the eyes. So with this now, it's as easy as this. It's as easy as what you are just seeing. The wire, the water pipe, the copper kit, everything wrapped up together, coming down gradually, and you just observe that everything is being done. See how neat it is. See how neat it is looking. So this is how it will always be when you contact the right person. Or if you want to do it yourself, it is as neat as this. There is no extra skill needed. There is no extra skill needed for this. It is only when it comes to repairs, understand? When it comes to repairs that you need extra skill, because you must really know what you are doing before you start doing it. So you won't actually complicate the whole problem. If it was a problem that would have cost you some cash, but because you've actually got yourself involved, you choose to complicate the whole problem, and it goes beyond repair, or even if it is within repairs, but in a very high cost of repairs or maintenance. That's how it is. So you just have to be very, very conscious. You just have to be very conscious with what you are doing. Though this pipe is not actually the best, but we just have to use it because that is what the person can afford. Understand? So we just have to put all form of consciousness working with it, not for it to get damaged. Understand? Not for it to get damaged. You just have to make everything look neat to the eyes and pleasing. So this is how it has been. We just have to set up the outdoor system. Now it is this outdoor system that you will see some practical job being done here. Understand? I'm losing up the connection terminals for the kits. I'm losing up the connection terminals for the kits, which is the copper pipe, understand, that flows gas in and out of the system. That carries the suction and the discharge pipes. So that is it. What you've just seen there is the discharge pipe, and the one below is the suction pipe. So I just have to carefully, if you observe what I'm doing, I'm just careful with what I'm doing. Carefully bend up the pipe to sit on the system, and I'm using my hands, my bare hand, to tighten the nut to the bolt. Observe it. I'm using my bare hands to tighten the nut to the bolt. I make sure that it is very free before I now involve the wrench spanners on the system. Before I get involved the wrench spanners on the system. So with the wrench spanner, you help it fasten very tight so the gas doesn't leak off from the system. Everything is totally enclosed. Everything is totally enclosed on the system. So that is how it is. Understand? You just have to be very, very conscious of what you're doing. You don't do things as though you don't understand what you are doing, but you have to be very, very conscious, because you need to understand what you are doing before you start doing it. This is how it is. This is actually a DIY system, a DIY installation. If you can do it for yourself, then perfect. If you can actually do it for yourself, then perfect. I love that. I would really, really love that. So this is how it has been, and this is how it will continue to be. From what you are seeing now, I just have to use the left range spanner to hold that part down, understand? To hold it down so it will not break. Then use the right range to fasten the knot tightly to the system. To fasten the knot tightly to the system. So I'm done doing that. And the next thing now is for me to unlock the gas with the hexagonal tool called the Allen key. Hexagonal tool called the Allen key. That is just it. And iSense AC, this kind of iSense AC uses size 5 hexagonal tool called the Allen key. And that part where I'm opening now is where you can unlock the gas that goes through the system. That's where you unlock the gas that goes through the system. Please be very, very conscious of what you're doing.
This is one of the most crucial parts you will never ever want to forget. You will never want to forget this particular part of it. So don't forget unlocking this refrigerant so you will still keep the compressor ideal for use.
Be very, very sure of what you are doing. Can you see what I'm doing? I have successfully unlocked the airflow from the suction pipe, and I'm unlocking the airflow from the discharge pipe. So I just have to cover up the corks, just have to cover up all the leads instead, making it look good. Fasten it up with the range spanner, then just get the system closed up. I'll get the system closed up because I'm done with that part. I'm done with that part, totally done with that part. Now the next part now is for me to get the cable and connect it to its proper terminals, and everything will start working perfectly. It is as easy as this. AC installation is set up. There is no big deal, there is no much turning around and the rest of it. So that is where I'll connect my cables. Have you seen? I've opened the cable lead. I'll just get my cable connected. And also one thing I need to one thing I need to make you acquainted to is that the cable has color coding. That's the neutral, and the 2L is the live, and the 3S is the compressor starter, because this is an inverter system. If it wasn't an inverter system, you would have seen a different thing. You would have just seen only the live and the neutral with an earth terminal. So because it's an inverter system, this is what we are seeing here. So you must be very conscious that if you use color code blue for neutral, you have to use the same blue for this outdoor as neutral. If you use brown as live indoor, you have to use brown as live outdoor. If you swap any connection, you tend to observe an error code on the system. So the error code will tell you that you've actually had a wrong connection, or you've done something ununderstandable by the system. So you have to set up everything to make it look perfect. Understand? No wrong connections, no inferior cabling, and as it is now, your AC is good to go, already set up, ready for use. So with this, please don't forget to like, comment, and share my video, and click on the subscribe button. I really appreciate it.
If this appears to be a short video, just click on my bio, check for the long video so you can learn fully. Thank you.